Hi everyone. In previous videos, we've looked at what to say to women when initially engaging them. Today, I want to talk about what to do after the initial comment. How do you transition to a longer conversation in which you show off your character and have a light-hearted, flirtatious conversation? If you've watched my previous videos, you know about how you need to pay close attention to the woman you want to engage in a conversation, pay her a compliment, and comment on something that you've noticed about her. That could, for example, be the way that she dresses or the vibe that she's giving off. Let's say she was walking around in a mall, window shopping, and she had a very happy look on her face. And you walked up to her and told her, "Hey, I know you're shopping right now. I just wanted to say one thing. You look very nice." She will probably give you a little bit of feedback in between the pauses that you take. She might nod or say, "Uh-huh," or "What?" Or she might get a look on her face that tells you she knows what's about to happen. It happens regularly that women will start to beam in this moment because they know what you're doing. They know what you're about to say is going to be something positive, especially when you're smiling and you have a lighthearted vibe about you. So they react to the way you are with the same kind of lightheartedness. This is usually already a very good sign early on. Sometimes women will be a bit more expressionless before you deliver the compliment and then light up when you say it. Once you do give her the compliment, you comment on something that you've noticed about her. In our example, we can say, "You looked very happy, like you were looking forward to a long day of shopping." She will now react to this in some way. In some cases, she might have already said something before you even get to the observation. But in most cases, she will at least reply in some way now. Best case scenario, she gives you lots of information. "Yeah, I'm going to meet my friend from Paris later. We haven't seen each other since I left the city and came back here. But I still have some time to kill before she'll be here, so I wanted to look for some new outfits before we go and spend the day together." Realistically, no girl is ever going to give you a response like that, but it's good for showing how to continue the conversation. There's a lot of information in that response. She's talking about her past. She used to be in Paris for such a long time she made a friend there. She's talking about the present. "I'm currently looking for some outfits." And she's talking about the future. She will spend the day with a friend from Paris. This gives you plenty of different directions to take this conversation into. And you will have to decide in just a couple of seconds where you want the conversation to go. It's not really that important what you say. It's much more important how you say it. The general vibe that you are giving off should be one of playfulness and lightheartedness. You're not here to inquire about her. You don't want to gather facts about her past or grill her about what she's going to do today. You want to share a nice little fun back and forth with each other. You say something, she giggles. She responds, you say something else, she giggles again. Ideally, there should be constant giggling going on. You want this to be a light, fun, and fizzy interaction. You want her to feel free and uninhibited and not tense and stressed. It's important to make girls feel good when interacting with them, because otherwise they will associate feelings of negativity with being in your presence. Even if they can't logically explain why, they just feel bad about you. My neighbor's constantly trying to get me into a conversation with him with dumb remarks, and even though I sometimes enjoy parts of them, often it's just him complaining about the same things over and over. When I see him in the city, I try to avoid him. You don't want a girl to feel that way about you. She will want to get away from you as fast as possible and avoid you at all costs. So choose to talk about things that aren't dry, like politics, and don't complain or whine about things. That can be easier said than done because there are often so many things to complain about. And sometimes girls will start it. They will talk about boring things and it's your job to drag the conversation out of it. It's easy and natural to just go along with it, and it takes practice and discipline to force the conversation into a different direction. So, back to our example. What are the different directions we can go in? She mentions that she used to be in Paris, long enough for her to make a friend there. Initial questions that might come up in your head when you hear that, but that we aren't going to ask exactly like that, could be, What was it like in Paris? What did you do there? How did you meet your friend there? Why did you come back? Did you study there? She also said that she was killing time right now, trying to look for outfits. What outfits are you looking for? Do you need something for a special occasion? What style are you interested in? And when she's talking about the day she's going to spend with a friend, you might be thinking, what are you going to do together? Are you going to go shopping all day? Are you going to spend more time together? Are you going to explore the city together? Is she staying here longer? Is she a foreign exchange student? Feel free to brainstorm more on what kind of questions could naturally come up. There are certainly tons of directions this conversation could go in. Picture it like one of those old point-and-click adventure games. You start a conversation with a character and you get a list of 4 things you can say, which all branch off in different directions. And based on what you say, you get different responses. The wrong question might end the conversation early, and the right question will advance the conversation in the right direction and bring you closer to the solution of the puzzle, and therefore your desired result. You can say good things, or you can say bad things. Part of flirting with women is finding out which things are the right things and which things are the wrong things, either through trial and error or the experiences and recommendations of others who already have the experience. As I said earlier, we're not going to state these questions exactly like that, because that's boring, and it's what everybody does. To her, it would feel as if she's being interviewed. It would also come across as if you're too invested in her life. You just spoke your first word to her maybe 15 to 30 seconds ago. Why do you care what she's going to do for the rest of the day? You have to ask these kinds of questions in a casual and natural way, and in a way that doesn't seem like it's a question. One way of doing that is to assume things instead of asking. Because if you assume something and you're wrong, she will simply correct you. And if we make it funny and silly in the same lighthearted way that we delivered our initial observation, then we are setting ourselves apart from boring guys who ask boring questions. So, for example, instead of asking, what was it like in Paris? Which would probably only make her feel burdened with having to give a complete stranger a dry, accurate travel report, we could say, oh, I imagine it was lovely in Paris, sitting in cafes at the Eiffel Tower, eating croissants, reading poetry, snogging French guys. And if she doesn't respond to that, you can follow that up with, was that what it was like? Is that what you did? Again, she could respond with a variety of answers, depending on how much she's digging the interaction so far. The response could be short or long. It could just be a curt nod. She could break out into laughter. She could be confused, or she's going to make a comment on one of your assumptions. She could say, I hate croissants, but I love baguettes. She could say, I hate poetry, but I really enjoyed the fashion of Paris. Or she could say, I'm not into French guys, I like Spanish guys. Or she could completely ignore what you said and just accept it as a joke and tell you what it was actually like. Again, it doesn't really matter what she says because you can't control that anyway. The point is you've advanced the conversation and you keep going like this. You run with whatever she gives you. You play the cards you are dealt. It'll take a lot of practice, so the best you can do is to practice daily. The most important thing is to do this a lot. Get a general idea of what best to do and then try it out for yourself. Have your own experiences. You're only going to really learn in the field. Some days it's going to be tough. Some days you're going to chat up a couple of girls and they'll all be busy or not interested. Some days you're going to find girls that are really up for some long chats. Some of them will be so fascinated by what you're doing that they are glad to stick around. You need to take things the way they are. Every day you go out and hit the streets give you whatever they give you. But of course it's also important to pick the right kind of locations. Different girls hang out in different locations, and they frequent them differently at different times. A lot of young girls can be found at universities, but they often hang around in groups or walk from one building to another. In some stores like 99-cent stores, you will find mostly older women, while others like drug stores or clothing stores like H&M or Zara also have a lot of young women, even going shopping alone, making them very approachable. I always love popping into my local Zara store. An interaction with a woman is guaranteed to happen within a minute on most days around most times. In the morning, a lot of people go to work. During afternoon, a lot of people return. They might enter a supermarket before they return home. On Saturdays, a lot of people are out and about, but often in groups and with their spouses. Check how things are in your city. What are some good spots to chat up women in the daytime? Prepare to invest a lot of time into this, because only then will you be able to make some progress. So take your time and practice, and tell me in the comments how it went. I would really like to know. And if you want to get more advice on how to get good with women, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell to get notifications, and share and like this on social media because it really helps. And consider subscribing to my Patreon or leaving a small donation via PayPal. Links are in the description. And here's another video you might like. Check out my playlist too. It's full of videos like this. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.